Would you like to learn? Should you be buying crypto now? Are we about to go into a 2-year bear market, or is this actually an optimistic time and you should be buying cryptos now? Today has been, without doubt, one of the most catastrophic and capitulating days I have ever experienced in all of my time in cryptocurrency. So what we're going to be doing in today's video is we're going to be looking at a range of different coins you may want to consider buying. We're going to be looking at, is there further to fall, and why should you potentially be optimistic about investing in cryptocurrencies today. Today has been a bloodbath, and today is the first day since 2021 that I have started to buy existing cryptocurrencies actually listed on exchanges. Why? Because the downside for cryptos from this point is much lower than when it was at the high. Therefore meaning that although it's a very risky time, although there's blood on the streets and an immense amount of panic, that actually this is the perfect time to be buying if any time exists. Now, one of the reasons why is because inflation figures actually got released today, and inflation has come down since last month. Okay, so that means, or should I say, April's inflation is better than March's inflation. Therefore meaning there is a positive momentum for worldwide indices, because less control is needed if the inflation is going down. Less, I suppose, interest rate hikes are needed to curb inflation. So, I am going to be talking about all of this with you live. So, do Will Smith and smack that like button and join 112,000 fantastic people that are in Team Suppo wanting to get rich from cryptocurrency. I have been in cryptocurrency for over 5 years. I have seen it all. I have seen the worst of dips. I've seen the most humongous of rises. I have made millions of dollars, 8-figure millions, and similarly I have lost heavy 7 figures, and in only months. So if anybody is your man, I is your man. So let me just make sure that I'm showing up as live. Yes, I am. Am I? Yes, you can hear me okay. Now let me just share this over to the people of Twitter. There we are. Done and done. So, I have actually been buying today. What have I been buying? Well, I bought Moonbeam. So, no, not Moonriver. Glimmer. I bought this twice. I dollar cost averaged in twice. I'm not logged in, so... But anyway, yeah. So, I bought at $1.30. And I bought at $1.17. And yeah, and since then, it has bounced up. It's not bounced up dramatically. There is still potential for it to fall. And if it does, I'm going to continue to DCA in. I would be quite happy to be able to get this for $1. Why am I invested in Glimmer? Why do I like the sound of Moonbeam? Well, Moonbeam is a layer 1.5 scaling solution for Ethereum and Polkadot based cryptocurrencies. It is an infrastructure and a potential powerhouse infrastructure. It's Ethereum virtual machine compatible, which means that essentially it will be able to scale any Ethereum dApp. So as far as I'm concerned, it is a powerhouse, one of those high potential cryptocurrencies that could go into the top 10. Another crypto I bought today, which you may have seen on my Twitter, is Luna. Now, I told you already, I have never bought Luna. The reason I never bought Luna is because it was way too high. It was like, you know, when I first started to look at it, it was around about $25. It then surged up to nearly $100. I think it was about $90. And today, the price was 69 cents. So I will show you. This is the inflation figures. So the inflation figures have just been released. And I think that when the inflation figures got released, the crypto started to go. That's why I was so... That is why there was an emergency for me to buy before these inflation figures came out. Because I thought if they were even slightly positive, then this would have a great effect on the panic. It would have a potentially calming effect on the panic. So, let me just show you. This is on my Binance account. So I bought Luna at 69 cents. Not saying how much I bought, because I don't want people to I didn't want people to just join and do exactly the same and get burnt, because Luna is an incredibly high risk play. So I bought it at 69 cents literally an hour ago. And since then, it has gone on to go, it's basically, let me have a look at that. So 380 divided by 0.69. 5.5x! 5.5x in literally an hour. Now that is the quickest 5.5x ever. Now, could lose it all. You never know. But Luna was once upon a time $100, so that is why I bought it. But I do not recommend buying it, because Terra Luna is one of the reasons why the cryptocurrency market has gone down. Essentially, Do Kwon, the guy behind Terra Luna, bought an exorbitant amount of Bitcoin and essentially bought that Bitcoin to be able to keep the peg of Terra USD. So he was responsible, by and large, for the rise that we had last month. Okay, the rise that we had was pretty much, in fact, it wasn't last month, it was March, was due to one guy. And yeah, so as a result of him buying all that, he was able to peg the Terra USD, enabling people to really dive into this one, trying to earn yield via Anchor Protocol. And essentially what happened is the thing crumbled. And what happened is that he has had to sell Bitcoin in order to keep the peg going. And in selling Bitcoin, the market has absolutely crashed. And it still hasn't saved Terra USD. And the ecosystem has completely died, lost trust, etc. So it's extremely high risk. But at 69 cents, I was thinking, can't really get much less. And I think there was an announcement earlier that Binance are going to be delisting Terra Luna today from Binance. So this is what led to the panic. So anyway, yeah, so that is why I bought Luna. I would not ordinarily buy Luna, believe you me. But it went to well below $1 billion in market cap. That considering that in market cap it was... Wait a minute, let me go back. In market cap, it was 40 billion. So I bought it under $1 billion. All right. So I'm not really a person that invests in large caps. Large caps is anything from 10 billion above. I invest in really low caps, mid cap, micro caps. So Terra was in fact a mid cap when I invested in it, and it was just yeah. And look at it go. Look at it go. $4. Insane. But I would say Glimmer was the one I'm most interested in. So the fear today is 12, which is very surprising because from what I've been seeing in forums, on Twitter, on social media, is that extreme fear is actually way worse than yesterday. Yesterday was already a terrible day. It's been a bad 5 days, but today has been the worst. Today has easily been the worst. So I feel like it has somewhat cleared because the inflation figures came out. Okay, so let's just have a look and see why it could be a fantastic time to buy. If we were to, this is the net unrealized profit and loss graph that I am using for Bitcoin. Now, if we have a look, if I had trend lines to be able to draw on this, what you can see is that with every cycle, the line goes down for euphoria. Okay, so euphoria is minimized every run. But at the same time, so is despair, capitulation and despair. So look, it's going up like that in quite a nice trend line. And where we sit at the moment is a fantastic 0.21 on the net and profit and loss. That basically means 80% of the market is in loss. 80% of the market is in loss. So when we're in euphoria, that means probably 20% of the market are not in huge profit. Okay, so it means 80% of wallets are in profit. Okay, so what this means right now is that approximately only 20% of wallets are in profit right now, which just goes to show that capitulation has or is happening, bearishness and panic has or is happening, and that presents the best time to buy. So people that say, because I posted my, I did post my Glimmer buy, but people were moaning, saying blah, 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 it's irresponsible. So I thought it's probably best to take that off then. But that is why I buy in times like this. I buy in times like this. This panic is when you buy. I don't want to, I am going to, again. But basically, be greedy when people are fearful. Be fearful when people are greedy. It's true. It's true. It would have won every time. With the right assets, of course. So let me just make sure that I can see what you guys are saying. And do a Will Smith, people. Get that phone. Will Smith that like button. Let me just see what you guys are saying. So let's just have a quick look, because I've just noticed somebody saying about Fantom's gone right down. So let's just have a look at the prices right now. They are ridiculous. They are, without doubt, the most juicy prices. You know, Fantom is 38 cents. This is a cryptocurrency I expect to go to $10 to $15 one day. Apecoin, which everybody was hyping about, has a lot of utility. Granted, it's going to be used in some metaverses like Animoca Brands, particular metaverses, etc. Right down. Steppen, right down. 148, the lowest I've ever seen it. I've only been tracking it since it was over $2, so lowest I've ever seen it. Avalanche. This is 10x more than it was at the absolute lowest I ever saw it, which was around about $3, which was the time I was actually, I suppose, recommending Avalanche. And yeah, it's a bloodbath. Mina, $1.24. Let's see, $1 this hit. That was a miss. I missed that one, but that is one I'm going to add to the hit list. But what you see here, this is the top 100, so a lot of these are large caps. But Chainlink, a $40 coin once upon a time, $8. It's ridiculous, the opportunities. Hedera Hashgraph, 10 cents. Insane. Right, okay, let's just say hello to you guys. So we got Givo Syndicate, P2E Games, USA Local SEO, Julian Tapia Franco, Jeffrey VV, Jamie Legg, Pete, Bernard, Hamandeep, Gazo, Dognut, Lindsay Gardner, Mizwa, Roy TX Sierra, sorry if I butchered your name, Sando TV, Rough Lace. Lovely to see you guys. I'm delighted to see you all. Fuzzy Man, Suppo the Goat, thank you very much. So yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, okay, there are two possible scenarios where we could be going, okay? Number one is the obvious. Number one is what we typically experience, which is that we have a bull market that lasts for 18 months to 2 years. It reaches a peak. That peak could be either 64k, which was probably when we did experience somewhat of a euphoria season. If I just go back. Yeah, so 64 was as close as we really got to, well, it says 57 here, but 0.748, okay? We were 0.02 off of euphoria. That was the closest we got to euphoria, but essentially a market top happened in the bull market. If you think of it like that, 64 or 70k happened, right? And that is the end. That is it. Capitulation from that point. And then next time you've got to wait for the halving to take place in 2024 that will essentially halve the amount of rewards, and then the bull market resumes again. The bull market goes on a massive positive inertia curve. It goes up. We could potentially hit, new all-time highs for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and blue chips, and anything that has survived and is thriving and is trending. Or we have not yet hit the bull market top. Okay, now there is that possibility. I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but I guess I have hodled because that has potential. Okay, there is potential for that to still happen. As far as I'm concerned, 2023 is going to be the worst year of the 2 years. 2022, 2023. 2023 is going to be worse. It's going to amount to food shortages, starving people, deaths galore, potentially more outbreaks of new strains of COVID. At the moment, China is in lockdown. I think it's Shanghai are in lockdown. And there's obviously some other mutation of COVID that we don't know about. And it's similar to what happened in 2020 when it was like, it kind of, the origins were in China, and then eventually it kind of seeped out into the rest of the world. And, you never really know what catastrophes could be coming. So as a result of that, 2023 could be where everything kind of bursts, bubble bursts, etc. And then we got the midterm elections in November 22, which is really a time where the politicians are going to want to make people happy. And so in order for people to be happy, they've got to feel happy, they've got to feel positive, they've got to be like, yes, right now I'm feeling good, so I'm going to keep that person in power. So I feel as if there is almost an incentive to make the market go up. So there's two scenarios. So either way, I am going to play the market how it should be played. I've maintained a short-term bearish kind of, I suppose, approach, and I maintain mid to long-term very, very bullish, very, very bullish. Okay, so so you've just got to play how you feel things are going to go. So yeah, so that's basically how I'm playing it. So let's have a look and see what other questions you guys may have. Juicy recommendations. Super. What do you think Luna can go back to? It's difficult to say. I mean, if we have a look, there was a bet made against Duquan, okay, which was to say that Luna will be trading lower than $88 by March 2023, a $10 million bet. Who knows if Duquan may use every VC he knows, every whale in crypto he knows. So for instance, there was looking to be a bailout. There was a potential bailout of Terra last night, Alameda, Celsius, and a few other big league entities were going to get into and help Luna recover, right? Because it's so well backed, and it's got such the great and the good in it that it felt like with recessions, like they were trying to get entities to bail them out. So you never know if absolute best case scenario is if they actually do a massive turnaround and Duquan wins the 10 million bet and it does take it over $88. I mean, the retracement's been insane. This is now a 10x for me. This is now a 10x. Ridiculous. So anyway, yeah, so you never know if Duquan will win that. And if he does win it, then that essentially could be a 10x from where we are now, or a 100x from where I bought in and where the price was earlier. And that is why I kind of got into it, because I thought 69 cents, it's kind of an Elon price. Elon would probably buy at that price, even if it was just to take the piss, even though it's not really funny. There's a lot of people invested in this, probably aped into this at the high, lost their arse on it. So I don't want to poke fun at it, but at the same time, as a person eagerly eyeing up opportunities. Terra's going down massively now. My 10x has now become a 5x. Anyway, so just going back to that. So you never quite know what's going to happen with that. But I would say that the sentiment is that people think that Luna is kind of like BitConnect now. People are saying like Luna's BitConnect, and although it's not, it gives those vibes off. That it was something that was too good to be true. The yield was incredibly good. Everybody was jumping on it. The only difference is that BitConnect was shilled by the gutter snipe of YouTubers, and Luna was shilled by probably what you'd call the creme de la creme of crypto YouTubers. So that's kind of the difference. However, the feeling is still the same. So yes, so you never quite know where Luna is going to go to. But if you have an entry which looks like it can't really lose, then kind of why not go for it? So that would be what I would say. I would recommend against investing in it simply because it's as Daniel Lamartina says, BitQuonnect. Bernard Macarius, people are losing confidence in all institutions, which I believe serves crypto well. Well, you would think that, but at the same time, looking at how the market is today, people are going to be thinking the exact same about crypto, and particularly with Luna, people are going to be like, oh, this looked like one of the safest, cryptocurrencies to invest in, and I've lost my ass. I've lost 100x on my investment. So if you put 10,000 in, essentially you got what? $10 now. So, well, probably a bit more than that. It's probably more like $100, $1,000. No, not $1,000. Yeah, $100. Yeah, so people got like $100 from 10,000 invested. So so that will minimize that. They'll minimize trust in cryptos as well. People will be back to saying crypto's a scam, crypto's dead, crypto's finished. Of course, it's not, and probably never will be. Milan, thank you for the question. If you have to pick one, Stratos or Saito, which would you pick? Well, I would probably go with Stratos. Saito, this would be very, very bad words to use, but Saito kind of gives me Luna vibes in the sense that it's not EVM compatible. Let me have a look at Saito. So with it not being EVM compatible, the adoption is likely to be smaller of Saito. But let's have a look at how Saito is looking. Saito has a new website. Ah, okay. So they've created a new website. Literally the worst time they could have done that. But anyway, yeah, so they've created a new website. It's layer 1. It would be interesting to see what the gaming side looks like. This looks better. Let's have a... Oh no, that didn't take me to the arcade. Let's have a look at the arcade. You can't really see the arcade. Okay, so essentially it's kind of like a mini clip gaming ecosystem. It's Web3 dApps, essentially. It's good. It's not EVM compatible. Stratos is EVM compatible. Stratos are definitely building out an ecosystem. They're in its infancy at the moment. And Stratos, I just get the feeling is a little bit... Stratos, I get the feeling is just a little bit better connected, Saito... I've looked at what the CEO of Saito, David Lancashire, says often, and it seems to be quite one-sided. Like, he's taking it where he wants it to go, rather than it be like a decentralized platform that the community decides where it goes. So that, to me, so people have been complaining, you should make it EVM compatible, you should work on transactions per second, speed, block finality, and all this kind of stuff. You should be looking to... you should be looking to essentially copy Solana, etc., in trying to make this high transaction throughput. And he's basically said, no, I want it to be how I want it to be. And that little bit puts me off. But, they're both good. I'm invested in both. I'm more invested in Stratos, obviously. If I bet on repeg, should I buy Luna or UST? I don't know. I would say probably Luna. I mean, why go for Terra USD anyway? Like, as you saw, I've made a 10x already today. With Terra USD, you'll make a 2x at most, because if this gets repegged, it'll just be a 2x, right? So, yeah, and it's just much higher risk. This can die, and Terra can still keep going on. They can just come up with a new DeFi platform or whatever. So I would probably buy Luna of the two if I was to have to choose. So yeah, and I have gone with Luna, as you've seen. You said you bought Grimmer. Explain more. I explained at the beginning, essentially, which is that I bought some at $1.30 and I bought some at $1.17. Have you looked at DJed from Cotty? No, don't give a crap about Cardano stuff right now. Luna Pump, any opinion? I would say that essentially the low point of it, I literally hit the bottom. Look, 68.89 was the absolute bottom, and I got it at 69.00. So the reason for the pump is obviously the low happened as a result of very, very fuddy bits of news coming around about being delisted, etc. And obviously the inflation figures hadn't been released. There was mass hysteria at the time, and now karma's been restored, and people and the market has gone up slightly. Okay, so at the time that this happened, Bitcoin was 29.4, and now Bitcoin is at 31.3. 31.4. So essentially, Bitcoin's gone up 2k. So that is the reason for the pump. And also, people are just thinking, wow, this is insanely cheap. The cheapest it's ever been. This was a $90 cryptocurrency. Why not? Well, actually, it was, according to this, it was $119. Utterly insane. So let's have a look at some of the hit lists that I've got and see what prices are looking like today. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or super chats, do put them forward. I would be more than happy. Super, you're not bullish on Cadena? No, I couldn't care less for Cadena. In fact, let's have a look and see how Cadena has done. The lowest I ever saw Cadena, and this was pre-pump. Okay, so I actually had my eyes on Cadena at the time, while it was under the radar. And the lowest I ever saw it was about 72 cents, I want to say. So it's only 2x more than that. And this has been up to like near $20. So it's gone down to, essentially it's very close to being a low cap cryptocurrency. Low cap is 50 million to 250 million. It's gotten really close to that, considering this was a top 50 coin at one point and hit a high of $24. Like, the reward ratio is high versus the risk from this point, and it's only 40 cents from its low. Let me see, when was it? Yeah, it was around about, it was before October. Yeah, it was around about here that I first noticed it. So it has essentially lost all of these. It's lost all of its relevance. And been taken back down. So, as I was saying yesterday, when you're investing in cryptocurrencies, the best thing to do is invest in what you believe in. Don't invest because some YouTubers talked about it. Don't invest because you're in it for the money. Only invest in it because you actually believe in the long-term vision. You believe in the team. You believe in the roadmap. You have an understanding of where it's going and how it can contribute to the future of blockchain, crypto, worldwide adoption, etc. The reason why I haven't bothered with Cadena is because there are many plays. There's many layer 1 plays in cryptocurrency, and some have a higher reward ratio than Cadena. And I never saw it. I never saw the appeal in Cadena. But if you believe in it, then at the current price that it's at now, it's pretty good. Suppo, are you buying NFTs? Yes, I am buying NFTs at this. Not right now, But I'm definitely hedging with NFTs. You know, my previous, if you looked at my portfolio as a whole previously, how it was 100% cryptos. I would say probably at the beginning of this year it was 98% cryptos, and now I would say it's probably 80% cryptos, 20% NFTs. I have gotten into NFTs, but I only get into, you know, ones that are highly hyped or at least spoken about by the right people. Ones that have the potential to be a blue chip, not just your average shit. Okay, so I tend to get into whitelists for competitive NFT collections. So OK Bears is the one that I have bought into recently, and is probably the one that I imagine, this is a pretty good one. It's probably the one that I imagine will, it's probably the best NFT right now. Others will say Azuki or Beans. Others will probably say this. But I love OK Bears. And what I love particularly about OK Bears is you own the NFT in seconds. It costs virtually nothing. Nothing in fees. Whereas with OpenSea Ethereum NFTs, they cost a fortune. With OpenSea and Solana, there's hardly any costs at all, so it's awesome. Let's check out more questiones. Can Velas be the next top 20 coin? I don't think Velas is going to be top 20, if I'm honest with you. Let me have a look at it though. It's currently ranked 130, and it has been... It's had its rise erased. It was over 50 cents. When I first talked about this, it was 5 cents. So it was back in, I want to say August or something, when I first spoke about it. So August is the 8th month. Yeah, it was around about here that I spoke about it. So it's 5 cents. It 10x'd, which is exactly what I said it would do. I said I see this as a 10x in the midterm. It did 10x, and it's gone right back down. Velas... You know, it's not got an awful lot of attention. Like, if you look at the volume, that's not whale volume. All right, with layer ones, and I see the interest in Velas. I can see exactly why people would be interested in Velas, and that is because it's essentially equaling Solana speed, 75,000 transactions per second. It is very seamless, but it doesn't have institutional buy-in. Like Moonbeam, as you can see, 70 million. This is on a bad day. 17 million is massive for a layer one that's outside of the top 100. So that's where you can tell whale potential. Let me have a look at another one. Cult is a meme coin. It's not doing that badly, actually. I would say, considering how brutal the market has been, this is a small loss. I think the reason why is because there's a snapshot today. People had to stake for today, so people may be selling it as a result. So people bought it in preparation for today, and that's why the price yesterday was 0.22, 2266, and now it's 1586. Why has Fantom dropped so much? Fantom has dropped really because of negative inertia, I would say. Negative momentum. All right, so first of all, Andre Cronje left them. Okay, now Andre Cronje is essentially the Grand Master of DeFi. And his involvement in Fantom, having made a name, created a name for himself with Yearn Finance and some other DeFi protocols that he was responsible for. Curve, I think, was another one. He was able to bring a lot of attention to Fantom, particularly as the layer 1 craze started beginning of last year. So Fantom had very positive inertia going up to $3. But since he left, essentially, it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like John Lennon leaving the Beatles. Like, it's the end of an era when that happens. Okay, I'm still invested in Fantom. I did sell some at near the top. 274 was when I sold some. And I only sold it because I thought that it was unsellable. Because it wasn't on its own chain. It was on Ethereum. So I was seeing, is it still sellable? So I sold a load at 274. Actually ended up being, you know, quite peachy. But anyway, look, it's got insanely high volume. It's got institutional buy-in. It's not going to go anywhere. It's a blue chip as far as layer ones are concerned. As a result of that, I see this going right back to the top. But it's had negative inertia because of Andre Cronje, the bear trend, and obviously the capitulation, which we're achieving now. Louis, dip. Thoughts on A0? I can check that out actually, because A0 is one I've been wanting to check out for a while. 117. I can't remember what the IDO price was of this. Let me just have a look. Might be on here. Maybe in here. Oh, what? 10 cents? No, that can't be right. It may be right actually. Where's crypto rank? That's a better one. Oh, it was 10 cents. 5 cents, 10 cents. So it's still, so if that was the IDO price, then it's currently 11x. If it's seed price, 30x. So let me have a look into it. Because I've not looked into it, but what I will say, this is a new blockchain, 7 million and 7.5 million in volume. That puts it at 10. I want to say roughly 10 to 1 ratio for its market cap, which is not great, but also not bad at the same time, particularly in this market. It's a pretty good website. Privacy enhancing public blockchain with instant finality. A Byzantine fault tolerance consensus protocol. It's basically exactly the same as, what's it called? Neo. Proof of stake obviously makes it more efficient. Web 3.0 and DeFi purposes. Oh, zero knowledge proof. Like it. So that is ZK roll-ups essentially. So instead of having to look and validate the data, like nodes having to validate the data, they don't have to. They don't have to look at the data, but there's like a proof that says this is true or it's false. And then if it's true, then it gets validated. Multi-party computation. So it's multi-chain? Yeah, multi-chain. So let's have a look and see if we can glean who's in this. So we can already see that it looks like a pretty intelligent project. Master Ventures, Gate. They've actually not got anybody decent. If I'm honest with you, you've got nobody decent. I don't recognise any of them. None of these are top tier, but it doesn't necessarily matter. That doesn't necessarily matter. So anyway, yeah, no, it looks okay. There is a lot of competition at layer 1 level, so you've got to kind of go, but it's a low cap, so that's pretty good. Someone said look at Neo. Let me have a look at Neo then. Baby Louie, dum. $12. There's not really much to see, really. Thoughts on Hedera hash graph? Well, I think that Hedera hash graph is stupendously low. I won't say buy, but I would say that this has got masses of potential ahead of it. Like, it's in the top 50, it's blue chip, it's got enormous volume, it's well known, they're building the ecosystem right now. Hedera NFTs have recently been launched, so the ecosystem is been very much building in bear. Like, it's not had a bull season really, and the highest I think it's got was about 30-40 cents. And the potential this has got is to be multiple dollars. So from a 10-cent standpoint, I think it's very good. I would buy this now because the ICO price was 9 cents. I want to say. No, the IDO price was 12 cents. So buying this now, you're essentially buying it cheaper than private sale people got into it. And of course, I was one of the private sale people. Jeremy Crocker, thank you very much for 20 Australian dollars. I think that's what that is. Suppo, you legend! Have you looked at Huxley Saga, full-blown Web3 franchise with NFTs, AAA game and dev, and Hollywood royalty making the movie? I've not looked into it. Is it actually out at the moment? Let me take a gand. Hux. No, I haven't looked at it. What I will say is that the super trend of metaverse, NFTs, has kind of died up somewhat. So I don't expect these to make massive multipliers out of the gate. Doesn't seem to be a lot on the NFT side of things. It's just Huxley Comics. And there's one video here. So, no, there's not. I've not looked into it at all. And to be frank, I'm not that interested in those. But I will check it out after the stream. But thank you very much for the contribution. Siva Kaliki, yeah. Do you see Stepan shoes do good in the long term? So far, good with 9 shoes, earning $200 every day. What's your take about this in the long term? Well, I personally believe in it for the long term. I've got some friends who are massive whales in crypto that are split on this. Some think it's sustainable, some don't. I personally think that the bear market is when you tend to see if ecosystems can survive. So, for instance, BitConnect got killed by the last bear market. Terra's being killed by this bear trend anyway. So it'd be interesting to see how sustainable it is. Let me just have a look and see, because I'm on Stepan. I do step to earn. So let me just have a look and see how much the trainers are now. Can't even remember how to find them. Here we are. 11.4 Sol. So let me have a look, see how much Solana is right now. 58. So that is what, $600 for trainers? It's pretty good if you think of the dollar value anyway. I enjoy Stepan, and it's a great way to earn, and over the long term, as long as you build up the bank, then you know it's got incredible VCs behind it. It's obviously, look at the volume. The volume, obviously, I can imagine this is to do with the capitulation. This has gone from like $4 in the last week, $3. It has achieved $4 before though at the end of the month. Yeah, at the end of the month. So yeah, so I imagine that a lot of the volume is to do with the capitulation, but that volume shows you the level of interest in Stepan. So yeah, I think that Stepan's good. Keep earning every day. Over time, you'll build up a big bank of crypto, which you can then use to. You don't need to deposit fiat. You just need to, because people, I know. People in my normal life who would invest in crypto would very tepidly put like $50, $100. So why not earn that in 3 days of walking and then invest in a cryptocurrency? It's virtually the same thing. So I think it's a great ecosystem, but whether it's sustainable, I don't know. But I should imagine that because it's got fantastic backers, they will find solutions. What bank do you use in the UK for Binance? I don't use a bank, if I'm honest with you. I use OTC. Is Mina still one of your favorite coins? Yeah, I will tell you this. Mina, and thank you very much, Milan. I will tell you this. Mina has got no spotlight recently. No one's talking about it. Nobody talks about Mina at all. Yeah, it's got very, very good volume. It's still in the top 100. It is one of the most unique blockchains. It's obviously private natured. Web3, it's a very small blockchain of 22 kilobytes, whereas most blockchains are like 150 gigabytes or 300 gigabytes. So Mina, My understanding of where it was last I looked at it was it had very, very bad scalability. Let me have a look at and scalability is everything. And not only scalability, but marketing of scalability as well. So let me just have a look at the transactions per second for MENA, because I wrote this down somewhere. 22 yeah, oh wow. So, okay, so the problem with MENA, because MENA shows all of the appearance of efficiency. It's obviously very, very small, so you don't have to download a whole ledger which can take up your computer. It's NFG efficient, essentially. However, the scalability is the issue. So last I looked, and I don't know if this has changed because I got this information back in July last year, so it's quite... So a lot may have changed, but the last I saw it was 22 transactions per second, which is about Ethereum level, which is terrible, and a block finality of 1 hour. Like, if that is not scalability at all. So that needs to be worked on. If they can solve their scalability issues, this could be a powerhouse. And of course, you know, once they do that, then the price would have already, well, would either have died or it would have skyrocketed to the multiple dollars, if not 3 figures over time. In which case, you know, you need to get in whilst it's in its early stages. Super thoughts on Metis? Yeah, I mean, it hasn't changed. What's changed is the environment. That's all. Metis So Metis, when I brought it to people, was $30. And it's back to $30. So essentially it has cancelled out 8 months worth of relevance, of marketing, of community building. It 10x from that point. So I brought it to about $31. It went to $317, and now it is $32 again. So it has lost it all, and a lot of that is to do with, because this would have been hit in November, I bet you. Oh no, it was January. So anyway, so whatever the case, you know, it's suffered from a very, very harsh bear trend, but it remains the same. That's the thing that you've got to maintain. Other than exceptions like Terra, where's Metis? Other than exceptions like Terra, everything has remained the same. What's different is the ambience behind them, the momentum behind them, the bullishness and the greed behind them. That's all that's changed, and that's an illusion. Fundamentally, most of these projects are what they were. Solana is what it was. It still has the benefits versus other layer 1 blockchains. Solana, I still think, is the best blockchain at the moment. And fundamentally, it's not differed. And yet, this is now 5x down on where it was. So, and Polkadot, again, similarly, fantastic technology, $10. And I don't think that's that bad, actually. So fundamentally, a lot of these have not changed. I thought to buy Luna at 90 cents, didn't. And within an hour, it's 470. Should I buy now? I don't think so. That's my personal opinion. I only bought it because it looked like a price. Like, how I approach buying and selling is I sell when the price looks too good to be true. I buy when the price looks too good to be true. When it's like you never thought that price would ever happen. Let's have a look at Moonriver. That is another top one. Moonriver is really a top one. Now let me just have a look at Moonriver crowd loan price. I think it was $10. If you crowd loan 100 KSM, you get 2,000. When was this? 11 months ago. So that would have been June. Let me just have a look at Kusama price. Back then. Just to get accuracy. So that would have been... let's say roughly 450. Okay, so 450 times 100 equals 45,000 divided by 2772. $16, right? Okay, so $16. I think I'm calculating that right. So $16 would have been the price, and now Moonriver is $24. So essentially, just $8 more. And this is a cryptocurrency. This is another layer 1 scaling solution with, in fact, it's actually better tokenomics than Moonbeam. It's essentially the Kusama of the Moonbeam ecosystem. So, having been a $500 coin, and it's now $24.15. So just to get back to its all-time high, I'm guessing that's 20x, but let me just... Yeah, 20x. So 20x. So Moonriver, I think, is also very good. So, yeah, so I think Moonriver's at a very, very investable price. And look at it. It shows whale adoption. Look at that. So 98 million market cap. So it's bordering on micro cap. Moonriver's a layer 1. Moonriver is a fast transaction layer 1 EVM compatible blockchain. And it's nearly a micro cap. And yet the volume is 2 to 1. That is insane. So as far as I'm concerned, Moonriver is another powerhouse. And it's gone down to $21. So this is one I'm definitely going to eye up. Where do you see PulseChain in the future? PulseChain tokenomically should not work. Okay? Tokenomically, PulseChain should not work. But then again... You know, Hex is still living proof of an incredibly appreciative asset. Okay, so Hex obviously was Richard Hart's baby, and this is a $25 billion cryptocurrency. So where would that put it in terms of number 5? Number 5, this would be, right? It doesn't marry up somewhat. Look at the market cap to volume ratio. Somehow it does not marry, and I think this is why people do not believe in Hex. This is why people put down Hex, call it a scam, and all that crap, right? But either way, you know, this is Richard Hart's first and beacon child of his contributions to the crypto world, and it's made 10,000x if you got in at the lowest. 10,000x. So by rights, if Hex, which is a certificate of deposit, it's essentially a DeFi system, it was ahead of its time actually. It kind of came out way before DeFi, Yearn Finance, Andre Cronje, Curve, and all that came out way before that as a way of locking up your tokens to earn a decent yield. And as a result of that, given that I don't find it very appealing as a utility, it is a top 6 crypto. Now, PulseChain is an actual layer 1. It's got one of the biggest personalities in crypto, Richard Hart. It's got the most evergreen narrative in crypto, which is layer 1s. It's got, obviously, built into it efficiency, greenness, an ecosystem already in growth, PulseX, a few others like Liquid Loans and some other shite. It's also got ImpulseX, PulsePad. It's built. It's already got like more than what a lot of other ecosystems have already got. But it's layer 1 ultimately, and so by rights that should trounce this. But if we have a look at what you would need to break even. So if you sacrificed in the PulseChain sacrifice, you would need for the price to go to 0.0001 to break even, okay? For it to 10x, it would have to be a tenth of a cent. If it was a tenth of a cent, given how much was sacrificed, therefore how much is going to be minted, it's going to have a huge initial supply. So as a result of that, it's going to need to be a top 3 coin just to 10x. So it's a deflationary cryptocurrency. So they burn Pulse with every transaction that's done. Will probably be done on PulseX. So therefore, I think that PulseChain has the ability to pump more than Hex. It's got better fundamentals than Hex. And as a result of that, if Hex is a top 6 coin, then Pulse could be a top 3 coin. Therefore, a 10x is very, very achievable. But we're in a very, very bad market. But it's coming out in 3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks. For it to 1000x, which, I mean, people are saying PulseX to $1, PulseChain to $1 is stupid. If it went to $1, it would have to, that would be a 10,000x on sacrifice price. And that would make it a 150... That would make it a 155 trillion market cap, which is never going to happen. Okay, so people need to wise up. 10x is probably, I would say, would be amazing. Which is bad considering, you know, which is bad considering kind of like Bluezilla-based cryptocurrencies. Still consider excited with Jim yet? Think PulseX will survive in current market condition? It'll survive, but whether it will thrive is another thing. I've talked about Velas. So, are there any other questions? But essentially, I think I've made my point clear, which is that whether today is the absolute most optimal time or not, we are in a sentiment in the market that is favouring selling, so favouring buying. So if you're having a look at the curve of how how anxiety and capitulation has gone in the past, essentially where we are now is pretty much on that curve. It's like a straight line. So that shows almost a bottom. Just like this shows a top, this shows a bottom. So that, to me, signals it's now or on around about now is a good time to be getting in. But let's just have a look and see how the market is doing at the present time, where Bitcoin is at. 31.7. So it's not losing. Although Terra is still losing. So, you know, we're not out of the woods yet. It's a sub-narrative. Let's have a look and see how the financial markets are doing. Let's have a look and see how the Nasdaq is doing. Nasdaq has had a bit of a recovery. No, a bit of a recovery, not much. The downwards momentum has stopped and it's curving up somewhat. Okay, so it's, yeah, so that's looking pretty good. Let's have a look at the dollar. The dollar obviously achieved a massive high earlier and has sank since. Could be because of the inflation figures. Let's have a look and see the other indices. Hang Seng recovering. Dow Jones recovered a bit. Standard & Poor recovered a bit, but it's going down. Are there any others? The FTSE maybe? FTSE's up. So, yeah, so the inflation figures have caused temporary recovery. So, but we're yet to see where it's going to go. But all I can say, in a very long way, as you've heard me muttering on for the past nearly hour, is that kind of this seems like the best time to buy in recent times anyway. It seems like the panic has stopped somewhat and there could be a relief rally or recovery rally coming very soon. Okay, and that typically offsets the panic that we have had. You know, with panic comes those relief days. And whether or not you choose to trade it or just hold on to it for the long term or dollar cost average over time, that's what I'm doing. I don't believe I've taken my final position in Moonbeam. Moonbeam, I am hoping I don't, no one wants their coin to go down, but I'm hoping that this does go down to $1, if not under $1. If it went down to that IDO, the take flight price, that would be absolutely ideal. But I don't think that's going to happen. The take flight price would be 25 cents, but at this present time, or the price I got it in at, was only 5x more than that. So it's not bad. Not bad at all. Considering Moonbeam was, once upon a time, a $40 coin, according to Binance. Let's have a look at Binance. Okay. Dum 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 dum. Yeah, $42 this was. $42 it was. And 140. And my lowest, 35x it would be to get to its best. And if I could get it down to, let's say, 80 cents, it'd be a 52x. So I'm going to try and average it. Never know what more panic can come. Worse interest rates, etc. So yeah, so there we are. There we are, people. So if we don't have any more questions or super chats, I shall make a move. Sol is good right now, but still could come down. Same for anything. That's a good question. Thoughts on Nia protocol? So Nia is, I think, probably the next Solana, I would say. Like, Nia has that potential. Look at the volume, 2.3 billion. The price is insane. Obviously, the price has been better. I should have looked at this earlier. This needs to go on my hit list. So Nia is one of those... It's one of those mid-cap plays that could end up being a multiple billion, if not trillion-dollar cryptocurrency one day. So So Nia, I've heard so many great things about. Ecosystems building out. Nia looks like probably one of the best up-and-comers. FOTA. Thoughts about FOTA launching soon? What is that? I want to say of the ages. Don't know. Super, can you look at Taraxa in your free time? Know you're busy, believe it's a gem. Working on informal transaction logging. Don't really know what that means. But I will have a quickie look. I think I've looked at Taraxa before. That's very low, isn't it? Taraxa. Public ledger. Audit logging. This looks shit to me. Genitrust, no. Genitrust is a cryptocurrency. It's actually really grown in the last... Anyway, forget that. Fight of the Ages. I've never heard of it, if I'm honest with you. Outer Ring. It's a lot of these games are gonna find it very tough. If we're in a long-term bear market, they're dead. They're gonna die. Thoughts about XCAD? It's okay. Hedera, obviously, I really like. Zilliqa, don't really care for it. Right, okay. I think that's it. We've covered a lot. I've given you some gems to look over. So, there we are, people. Let me know in the comments, what are you buying? What have you been putting down for dollar cost averages? You don't have to put down the price if you don't want other people to know. Whenever I put down the price, people tend to snap it up beforehand. When I put my Moonbeam price the other day, I said I was going to buy Moonbeam at $1.50. All of a sudden, I was going to buy Moonbeam at $1.50, and the price at the time was like $1.70. The price shot up to like $1.94 straight away. So you don't have to put. But what are you eyeing up for DCAing, and why? Why do you feel that whatever you have is relevant for whatever period you're anticipating next, whether it's a long-term bear market, a short-term bull market? I am obviously erring on the side of the latter. I really do think there's going to be a short-term bull market. And I'm hoping so anyway. But whatever the case, I'm buying now. I'm dollar cost averaging in because why not? Total Total 2 charts, altcoin charts scare me. 90% plus had a relapse in the previous cycle, now 55%. Yeah, but we didn't really have a top, so therefore we haven't really had a bottom. You know, if we, as I've just shown you in the glass node, how much worse can it get from this? It can obviously get a lot worse. You know, we could get to minus figures. That is pure capitulation. Minus 0.42. Yeah. So we could get really bad. It could get really bad. I'm not gonna, but we never hit a euphoria, so therefore why should we hit a true capitulation? So there's still momentum. There's still potential. But once 2023 comes, it's over, as far as I'm concerned. We're dead. We're done. You know? So, and then we do definitely have to wait till 2024 for that. Right, that is it. So, thank you very much for being here, people. I've loved bringing you this stream. It's been a very enjoyable stream. And there's 2 in a row, considering I've not been around for 3 weeks. Let me know if you want me to do more of these videos for you. But I hope you've enjoyed, and happy buying if you are choosing to buy. And if you're not choosing to buy, why not, and what are you expecting to happen? Till next time, people, I've been the Suppoman. You have been awesome. It is lights out, all out.